Hi, my name is Jessica Rosen. I have been a practicing emergency physician here in Nashville for over 10 years now. And my husband, who's speaking later, is an ICU physician currently working in the COVID ICU. I am speaking up today because COVID 19 is already completely out of control in our state. And with Thanksgiving approaching, I'm feeling very worried. I'm worried that our hospitals, many of which are already full and suffering staffing shortages, will be overwhelmed in the next few weeks. I'm worried that we will be stretched beyond our capacity to manage not only the critically ill COVID patients, but also all the other illnesses that come into our ERs. I'm worried about the prospect of having to decide who to resuscitate based on limited resources. I'm worried about the increasing number of difficult conversations we'll be having with patients and their families in the weeks to come. Just last week, I took care of an older man who had recently traveled to Florida to visit his family who'd been missing him, where he unfortunately contracted COVID 19. He came into our ER with very low oxygen levels, obvious difficulty breathing, and chest pain. He had a large pneumonia on his chest x-ray. After stabilizing him, I admitted him to the ICU and then proceeded to talk on the phone with his very concerned wife, who was waiting in the car outside the ER. Every time I talk with the families of COVID patients, I can hear the pain in their voices at not being able to be with their loved one during this critical time, and my heart hurts for them. It is a terrifying experience, not only for the patients themselves, but for the families as well. I understand that the pandemic doesn't always seem real to people who are not on the front lines every day or who haven't been directly affected by COVID yet. But COVID is real, and we are at a crisis point right now. We are seeing more and more COVID patients and sicker COVID patients every day, and our hospitals are filling up quickly. As Dr. Bono said, I'll be working in the ER on Thanksgiving Day, so my family and I will celebrate on Friday, but we'll be celebrating differently this year. We're not traveling anywhere. We're getting together only with a small group of people and eating outdoors and socially distanced. We'll have separate serving dishes per household, and we'll be wearing masks when not eating. We will be making these changes and sacrifices to protect the health of my parents who are in their 70s, as well as our community at large, because we understand that the way we personally choose to gather over the holidays affects everyone else. I'm pleading with Tennesseans today to please consider carefully your Thanksgiving plans and prioritize protecting your loved ones from contracting this terrible virus. Don't travel if you don't have to. Consider gathering outdoors. Wear your masks and keep social distance. Yes, this year will look different, but we can make this sacrifice in order to stay healthy and hopefully have a more normal Thanksgiving next year. Before I end, I'd also like to appeal directly to our leaders to step up immediately and do your jobs. And that starts with clear and unequivocal leadership from the governor's office. We need to join the many other states across the country in enacting a statewide mask mandate, because masks do protect all of us, and they are the best evidence-based way to prevent transmission of this virus. We need enforcement of the Tennessee Pledge, mandating businesses to require 6-foot social distancing and masks. Recommending and suggesting just hasn't worked. We need more resources directed towards testing, and test results need to be available within at least 24 hours. Governor Lee, we can't do our job until you do yours. No parent, teacher, business, or community should have to fight a global pandemic on their own. Your everybody fend for yourself approach has failed. You must take responsibility and issue the mask mandate that doctors across Tennessee have been saying we need for months to get COVID under control so that we can safely keep our schools and businesses open and avoid any further exponential spread of this virus that is already straining our hospitals and taking thousands of Tennesseans' lives. Thank you.